Well, hello, everybody. And the Stamp Maven here, and it's 6 o'clock. So it is time for live. I hope you guys had a great Monday. Mine was so busy. I get to my non-Stampin' Up job at 6 a.m. to 6:30, and I hit the ground running. So, it was a Monday, lots of new hires and things, but now it is fun time. So, I have a new project to show you, but first I want to show you some cards that I made with our new in colors. And the cards are going to be very similar. They all use cardstock, DSP, ink, and the same stamp set. So I'm going to just quickly show you, hey Rhonda, these fun cards that I made. And then I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I used. I'm going to put these cards into a set, and I'm probably going to make more than one. Hey, Carol. And I'm going to give them as a gift. So I use this Botanical Layers stamp set. Now, these images are all supposed to be leaf-like images. Well, as I was flipping through the cards, you probably noticed a red one. Well, typically leaves are not red. They can be in the fall, but I just love this set, and I thought it would be so great to use to make all these cards. And then, of course, we needed some embellishments. So these are the matte decorative dots from this year's In Colors. And you can notice here, they kind of have an ombre look. They start with a darker color, and then they go to the lighter colors with each of the new Stampin' Up colors. And then, of course, we've got the twine. So what I used was the cardstock, and this is Sweet Sorbet, and then I used the Designer Series paper in the In Colors. Of course, they're two-sided. I chose the leaf pattern. This is the Starry Sky. This is Parakeet Party. Now, those of you who've been stamping a while probably remember Lemon Lime Twist, and this color kind of is like that. This is Tahitian Tide, looks a little bit like Tempting Turquoise, and of course, this is my favorite, Orchid Oasis. Doesn't that sound just really cool? Like you're lying on the beach somewhere, just sipping a fruity drink. Well, tonight, this is the card that I'm going to show you. And you can see here, there's several layers. The base is thick, basic white cardstock. And then I've got a layer right here. It's a little hard to see, but that is the Tahitian Tide cardstock. Then I've got some of that yummy Designer Series paper. Then I've got the Glimmer Paper right there. Then I've stamped on a white layer, and this top part is vellum. Oh my goodness, guys, this vellum comes as part of a bundle with vellum and the stamp set that I just showed you, Botanical Layers. Well, let's put this card together. So I am using, it's you can kind of see here, it is sort of a monochromatic card, but I did bring in some colors on the stamped layer. So let me bring in, I have got my thick basic white, but I was playing around and I'm going to use this black layer instead of the Tahitian Tide because I just loved the look of the black. I think black and especially this color blue go really well together. And I will give you the measurements of these after I finish the live. I'll just mention that this black is 4 by 5 1/4. It's a standard card layer. Then the next layer is going to be, I'm going to use the polka dot pattern in our DSP in color. Okay, we're going to put this down like this, so we have just a little border here. Let me scooch it over. Again, I love using this adhesive because it is very forgiving. Then our next layer is going to be this glimmer paper. What's so great about this is the like glitterish look. It doesn't come off like the old glitter paper used to. So I think you'll really like this paper. And again, it comes in all of the in colors. May 3rd is when the catalog goes live. And of course, you'll be able to shop right on my Stampin' Up website at annbrown.stampinup.net. Okay, now let's put this right here. And we're going to open our Tahitian Tide and our Parakeet Party. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this leaf right here. And let me grab a block. I'm actually using a paper pumpkin block. But if you notice, let's put this right here so you can see this vellum. I'm going to put my scrap paper. Let's do this so there's not as much of the stamp off on there. Okay, so see this leaf right here? It is this leaf in the stamp set. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to ink up this stamp, and I am not going to, if I put this over here, you'd see if I were to stamp right here, that would be exact. Well, I don't want it to be exact. So I'm going to just stamp it a little bit over. And then right here, can you see that same leaf? I'm going to do it again. Again, not exact, and I'm going to stamp it without re-inking it. So I get a lighter look. All right, now I'm going to clean my stamp before I put it back away. And I've got my Stampin' Scrub and Stampin' Mist off camera. But there it is, nice and clean. Then we're going to move on to our next one, which is this image here, which is that image right there. So I'm going to use the Tahitian Tide for this, and I'm going to stamp off for this one on my scrap paper, and then I'm going to come and stamp right here. So now I've got the first generation stamp here, second generation here. So in other words, full strength, then not re-inking, stamping again. And if I wanted to, I could do a third one, but that would be a little bit too light. So then I'm going to come where this part is, and I'm going to do this full strength. Okay, so you can see the pattern here that is developing. Now clean this off, and then we're going to move over to this fun one. And you might wonder why I put the washi tape here. The reason is sometimes the cling stamps, since they adhere to the blocks so well, sometimes it's hard to get them off. So if you put a little piece of washi tape, you can grab that. You don't get ink on your fingers, and then you don't scrunch up the stamp. Okay, so now I'm going to do the blue again over here. I'm going to do this one full strength. I'm going to come over here, and I don't want it on my vellum, so I'm going to come over right here, and then I've got that blue. Now we've got one more leaf. Let's clean this off. Pull it off using that washi tape. Comes off nicely. Now we've got this leaf, and we're going to ink it up in the green, and then we're going to put this full strength here, and over here it's going to be just the second generation. Okay, now here comes something fun. So we've also got these fun little images here. They're like, it's a little hard to see them, but they're like these little mini flowers. So what I'm going to do is put these kind of all together, and I'm just doing it in a random way. And I'm going to stamp here, and they're going to be on and off. I caught an edge there, so I'm just going to come again with that and cover that right up. Then I want to come over here and just twist, put a little guy right there. And let's do this. You know what? I'm going to clean this, and we're going to do this in green, aka Parakeet Party, and we're going to just put one right here. Okay, voila. That's all there is to it. Now, here is some magic. So, we are going to take this white piece, and we are going to go ahead and we are going to put it right down on our card. Right in the center here, so that we still see some of that beautiful glimmer edge. Let me close up these ink pads so I don't get my thumb in there. Now, we're going to take this vellum overlay and we're going to put it right on top. Look at that. Isn't that just the coolest thing with these colors peeking through? You could put it on here just in the black, but I just love the way these other colors peek through. Now, you might have a question, well, how are you going to adhere that down? Well, let me show you. We're going to take a glue dot and we're going to put it right here over where I've stamped that blue. Then we're going to come over here and we're going to put one right here. And by putting it over this dark stamping part, you will not see that through the vellum. So let me just show you when I get all of these tops off that you're not going to see it. Okay, so let's just come right here, line this up, and okay, we're almost done. Look at that. Now what I did on these cards, I came through on the inside and I stamped this on the inside. I think what I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to just take this smaller leaf and I'm going to stamp that on the inside. I'm not going to do the whole sprig, so to speak. I want to just have part of it full strength, and then I'm going to just stamp it second strength, and then I'm going to just go right on top of it to get just that pale, pale look. Sometimes less is more, you know? Okay, do you have any questions about that so far? Then what I did, I took our scalloped contours dies, and I took this die right here. I took my Tahitian Tide, a little scrap, cut that out with my die cut machine, my Stampin' Emboss. Then sometimes the little teeny holes don't always pop right out, but we can just take our scissor point there and do it. You can also use the take your pick tool, the paper piercer, but I have my scissors right here, so I'm going to just use that. Then on this one, I did Thinking of You, but the other greetings that are in here are You Mean the World to Me, Thank You for Everything, Thinking of You. So I am going to use You Mean the World to Me because that's still going to fit right on this. Now I'm going to use my Memento ink, the black, because I want this to show up really well on the Tahitian Tide. Let me close this green here. You could easily keep your monochromatic theme going and use the Tahitian Tide, but again, okay, perfect. Got that inked up, and we're just gonna put it right here. Oh, and I even stamped it straight. Look at me. Then, of course, you can pop it up, but honestly, I'm going to just use glue dots. I could use my mono liquid glue, but I've got tons of these little glue dots left from the paper pumpkin. And oh, by the way, if you are not a paper pumpkin subscriber, you might want to think about subscribing before May 10th, because the May paper pumpkin is gonna be all about in colors. And there's even, remember Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? There's gonna be like some golden tickets in random paper pumpkin boxes, and you might get one, and you might get something pretty awesome. Okay, So we're going to put that down. Now, on this card, I just used some clear little jewels. But on this, I think I'm going to just go ahead and put a couple of the Parakeet Party on here just to snazz it up a little. What do you think? All right, there's one there. And let me get one of the light ones here, and we'll stick that right there. And voila! Hey, Melissa and Marilyn, thank you. Aren't these beautiful? And let me really quickly show you the other vellum. You might have seen it last week, but in case you didn't, okay, there's the piece we used. There's these cool little polka dots that kind of make a frame. This one is a mountain look. And you know what? I bet you might even be able to turn that into clouds and a storm. This is a swirly, which I can think of all sorts of things to do with that. And then you've got all of these sheets of just regular vellum that you can stamp on. Now, the thing, if you stamp on vellum, remember, you need to either emboss it or let it dry. And what I do, if I'm embossing, I turn it over and I use my heat tool from the back side. That way there's less of a risk of burning. So, hey, if you have any questions about this, if you have not gotten a catalog from me yet, if you don't have a demonstrator, if you aren't a demonstrator, if you've purchased from me and just haven't gotten it yet, shoot me a Facebook message or email me at ann@stampmaven.com. Catalog goes live on May 3rd. If you have anything to order, I would surely appreciate your order. Leave me any questions you need. I'll give you the measurements and we'll connect again next week. Have a great evening.